Thank you all for being here. I'm Keith James, Mayor of West Palm Beach, and I have with me Assistant Chief Brent Bloomfield and Assistant Chief Sarah Mooney. And we wanted to give you some updated information about storm preparations. Now, as many of you have seen, the latest update from the National Hurricane Center has Hurricane Dorian making landfall in Florida as a strong Category 3 or a weak Category 4 storm. In either situation, this is a serious weather event. The city has activated its Emergency Operations Center, and we are closely monitoring Hurricane Dorian and the path of the storm. We are now operating at level 2 activation, and our primary focus is and has always been and will continue to be making sure that our residents are safe. We are urging all residents to prepare for the possible impacts of Hurricane Dorian. First and foremost, make sure you have ample water supply. You should have 1 gallon per person per day for at least 5 days. Let me repeat that. 1 gallon per person per day for at least 5 days. Now is the time to go out and replenish your water supply. If you haven't already, please put together a hurricane kit. Now, if you need details on what a hurricane kit should include, you can go to our website, WPB.org/storm. We have a shopping list there of everything you should have in your hurricane kit. If you're taking any prescription medications, ensure that you have an ample supply of those medications. We will be announcing evacuations at some point, so you need to know what evacuation zone you are in. And when you are told to evacuate, you must do so. We still have some questions about what strength Hurricane Dorian is going to be and what the specific track is, but we can't wait for certainty. Do not wait for certainty. We have to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. We are expecting and anticipating heavy rainfall, and to further complicate matters, we're expecting a king tide this weekend, which will exacerbate the possibility of flooding. Now, I just got out of a meeting with my key leadership team, department directors, and emergency managers. We are making assessments for the safety of our citizens and all of our personnel who will be, and identifying the personnel who will be responding before, during, and after the storm. Right now, the city stormwater team is checking all the basins and stormwater drain covers throughout our service area, especially in areas that are impacted by a higher amount of rain. We continue to check the stormwater system because, as you all know, in August, we got more than a usual amount of rain for our service area during that month. Now, we've also sent out a task force consisting of 3 firefighters and 3 police officers in teams of 2 to look at this morning. We sent them out this morning to look at the 27 assisted living facilities and nursing homes in our service area to make sure that those facilities are in good shape and to ensure that their generators are up and running. We are pleased to say that it seems like that is the case. Those facilities do have generators that seem to be operable. Our development services team is going out to construction sites to ensure that they are being cleaned up. Construction cranes have been unpinned so that they will flow with the wind. We continue to monitor Dorian's projected path and are waiting to see what the impacts will be to our city and the kind of emergency that we're going to face, and we will adjust our preparedness strategy accordingly. Again, our attitude is that we are preparing for the worst here in West Palm Beach and hoping for the best. Normal sanitation services scheduled for Saturday has been suspended, so do not put out your waste cans. I repeat, sanitation services normally scheduled for Saturday have been suspended. We are no longer doing special pickups. Any waste or debris scheduled for pickup must be 150 feet from a storm drain. We have to keep the storm drains clear to minimize flooding. Clear drains reduce the likelihood of flooding or standing water. Here are a few things that we are asking all of our residents to do. Please do not do any major yard work until after the storm passes. Do not place any debris at the curb after a hurricane watch or hurricane warning has been issued. As excess yard waste placed curbside may put a strain on collection efforts. Please keep storm drains clean to minimize flooding. Large piles of new vegetation trimming may clog storm drains. And secure any patio furniture or yard waste, as these may become projectiles during a storm. At the city, we prepare and train year-round for hurricanes, and I cannot overemphasize this. While we are preparing for the worst, we're hoping for the best. But ladies and gentlemen, please take this storm seriously. When we know more about what the impacts are going to be, we will determine how we are going to respond and how we are going to recover. At this time, we are assessing what we will be confronted with so that we will know what additional steps we must take. Hopefully our city is spared any significant weather damage from Hurricane Dorian, but we encourage you, please take steps now so that you are prepared. And now we're available to answer any questions that you may have.
Those evacuation plans, when will you start rolling out those? And how do people find out what route they need to look at?
Chief?
So today at 4 p.m. we have a municipal EM meeting with the county, and that's something that'll come up in discussion. That plan hasn't been enacted yet because we're not even under hurricane watches or warnings. So once we start doing that and the projected path gets a little closer, we'll start assessing where and when we're going to start doing evacuations, but we're not quite there yet.
Tony?
What's a level 2 activation? How many levels are there?
So there's 4 levels of activation. Level 4 basically is that we're at basic activation. Level 3 is that we're monitoring. And level 2 means that we are starting to ramp up for an activation. When we go to a level 1, if the storm gets closer and looks like we're going to get impacted, we'll go to a level 1 activation, which means that we'll be in full EOC mode, and we'll be starting our operational periods and developing our IAPs. We are right now, we just bumped up to a level 2 based on the hurricane models. Some of them are getting closer to coming south, which means we're going to get some impacts of some kind, whether it's a tropical storm or a full force hurricane. We won't know until it gets a little closer.
Any other questions?
Well, when you say it's headed south,
Well, so the models have,
more toward us or more toward
well, the models started off up by North Carolina, and they've started to tick down. I mean, they're still from, there's still a swath from Savannah all the way to Miami, but the models have started, coming down from North Carolina. Now they're down to Savannah. So, I mean, that's as they're coming south. That's what I mean. Okay. But I mean, as the cone starts to shrink, we're still in the cone, so we need to be diligent about what we're doing.
Mayor, what's the message to the public, just to the people who are milling about or waiting to the last minute to do what they need to do, and people that just, aren't heeding the warning?
The message to the public is that this is a very significant weather event. You should not be complacent, and you need to start taking actions now. Already we're seeing lines at the gas stations. We're seeing water supplies being significantly reduced in various stores. So now is the time to start taking action, because you may have to have a plan B. If you can't get water at one store, you're going to have to try to find another one. If you can't get gas at one station, you're going to have to find another one. But you have time to do that, but take advantage of the time that we have in order to make all the necessary preparations, to buy all the supplies you need. If you need to renew subscriptions, get all of that done now. I can't overemphasize the need and the requirement for advanced planning. We all know that even the most difficult time, quite frankly, is post-storm. The storm is going to come. There'll be rain, there'll probably be flooding, and there'll be winds. But those of you who have been in Florida for a while know the most difficult part of this is going to be what happens after the hurricane leaves. We don't know if we'll be without power for 3 days, 5 days, or 30 days. We just don't know. But we need to prepare for life after the hurricane, which means you need to take the steps. You need to have water available, gas in your car, all of your medications. If you need to evacuate, you're going to have to do that. So just because we may survive the storm during the storm. It's life after the storm that's going to be difficult, and that's why we need to take those steps now.